Welcome, guys, to another episode. We've got Peter with us today. He's just finished first year at Sheffield, and he's about to start second year at Sheffield Dental School. I know Peter because we worked together 2 years ago now on his application to dental school, and now he's here in dental school. So this is going to be a really good one. We're going to find out about everything that Peter was doing to get ready and how first year has been for him. So Peter, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you. I just want to say before we start that I used Dental Mentor, and Arnold's helped me get into dental school was so good. I used the personal statement and the interviews, and it really did help me. So I recommend it to anyone trying to get into dental school.
Thank you for that, Peter. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. So as always, let us know, why did you want to get into dentistry?
So for me, it's a bit of a story. So when I was a kid, I used to just love sugar and sweets and chocolate and everything like that.
Yeah.
It was even to the point where, like, in birthdays when you had that hard icing on cakes and everyone would scrape off their icing to put in my bowl, and I'd just eat theirs, like, horrible, like, just full of sugar. And yeah, I just had a sweet tooth, and I still do now, to be honest. But at the time, like, while my teeth were developing, it wasn't good, and I got like a few caries, lesions, like a bit of decay and stuff. So I got in like a really bad toothache one time. I just remember the pain, and I had to go to the dentist like as an emergency to get me out of this pain, and I couldn't sleep or eat or anything. So like my dentist was able to get me out of the pain, and I just felt that relief, and I thought I really want to do that for other people. Even as a kid, like, I thought my dentist is like my hero. So I even like started to look up to my dentist to the point where I wanted to be him. Like, I saw him in the gym a few times, and I literally thought, like, I want this guy's lifestyle. Like, he wore suits to work, and like just the way he spoke and everything about it, I thought, like, this is a career for me.
Yeah.
And then I think, like most other people as well, I liked all the sciences and was good at them in school. So when I was at sort of GCSE stage, I started to think about a career, and dentistry was definitely like number one for me, like right from the start. So yeah.
Yeah. So how did that develop in school in terms of your interest for dentistry? Did it dictate what subjects you're picking at GCSE and A levels as well?
Yeah, so GCSE, I kind of picked what I like because I already did triple sciences, so I knew that was covered in like dentistry. And then I did resistant materials actually with like dentistry in mind, because I thought like the kind of shaping and drilling of wood, like I had obviously being like younger and stuff, you have that in mind. Like, you don't really know much about dentistry, so you just think drill and fill really. So
Yeah.
yeah, I had that in mind. But then no, at A level, definitely, like, I looked at the UCAS subjects and stuff and picked biology, chemistry and maths. So yeah.
Yeah. And at the time, did you think that you were certain, were you confident that you were going to get the grades for dentistry, or was that ever in doubt?
I was working hard at the time, and I was getting in practice exams, I was getting the results I wanted. So it was more for me, it was more whether I was going to get an interview and whether they was going to accept I was more worried about the UK CAT and personal statement, getting an interview, because to me it was more like, if I had the opportunity, if someone said to me like I had the offer, I knew I'd put everything into it to like get it, because I wanted it that bad at the time. Like, I knew I didn't want to do it a second time round.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get in straight away and not have a gap year and just be at uni. Like, I was excited to start. So as soon as I got an offer, I literally like put my head down and yeah, got what I wanted.
So in your application, did it lend itself to certain universities? Did you score as highly in the UK CAT that decided where you were going to apply, or how did you choose where you were going to apply?
Yeah, I took some of your advice actually, Arnold. When I was doing work experience, was about picking unis that you actually like, the city and stuff, because you're there for 5 years, and all dental schools you're going to come out as a dentist. So I think with dentistry compared to other subjects as well, you have to just pick which like city you think you'll enjoy the most, sort of the surroundings. So I did it based off that, and I think the UK cat I did after I'd picked my places already, but going back I probably would have changed it because my score wasn't as I wanted for some of the unis like Manchester and Liverpool. I really had like less of a chance of getting an offer from them with
Mm.
the UK cat score I had. Whereas I know some unis like focus less on it, so I probably would have picked them if I looked into it more at the time.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, you mentioned about the time when you came to do work experience at the practice I work at. Um,
Yeah.
at that time, had you done much else in terms of work experience?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to have one of my friends whose auntie's a dentist. So at the time, he wanted to also do dentistry. So we went together in a practice in Ormskirk, and she'd been at the practice for a good 20 years. So
Yeah.
she knew her patients very well. So I did a good, I think it was about 6, 7 days at her practice, and I got to see that she had a really good relationship with all her patients, some private, some NHS. So it was a good mix, and she showed us a lot of treatments. And being an older dentist, she didn't like sort of not tell us things and rush through it just because she knew it was easy and she knew what she was doing. She did a really good job of explaining everything to us
Yeah.
and sort of giving us a real taste into what dentistry is like.
Yeah.
So, and then I went to you after that, and it was good to see the difference between a new dentist at the time,
Yeah.
um, treating NHS patients and the heavy sort of workload you had, treating new patients that you hadn't seen before, and how you sort of introduce yourself and build a rapport with them.
Yeah.
Whereas she'd already built sort of near enough 10 years like worth of treatments with these patients, and she was showing us dentistry in their mouth that she'd done literally like sort of 20, 15 years ago that you wouldn't really even see now. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good mix. I had a good work experience, I think.
Yeah. And you know, what advice would you give to people in terms of making the most out of work experience? Yeah. What advice would you give to that?
I'd say anywhere's good because it's so hard to get work experience to begin with.
Yeah.
But I think while you're there, definitely just sort of listen attentively and um, ask questions, try to find out things that you're unsure of. Um, if you can, get a mix of sort of work experience, not just the same thing every day, just watching the same dentist. So if you go into one, if you can only get work experience at one practice, then maybe ask if you can move around and see watch different dentists, or even look at what the nurse is doing, because at dental school you do sort of like start to see the nurse's job, the receptionist, like how they all come together and work as a team. So it's not just you're going to watch the dentist, like dentistry is a whole mix of like a team working together to deliver a service. So I think you really have to sort of see that it's not just like sort of the clinical skills, it's everything, how the dentist talks to the patient. I think that's the key thing for me that I saw with like how you and the other dentists I got to see, is that how you spoke to the patients so well and sort of made them feel comfortable, and you were taking care of them, not just their mouth, like while they were sat in the chair. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't just like you're treating the mouth, you were treating the actual person, caring about their needs.
Yeah. That's some good advice there. So the personal statement, how many, do you remember how many drafts you went through to get to your final personal
Oh
statement?
my
Because
god.
right now, people are working on their personal statements and
Yeah.
how do I do the intro? You know, is my personal statement unique enough? You know, how was
Yeah.
that process? How many
Yeah.
drafts did you do? Do you remember?
I must have done about 10 drafts. I think I've still got them on my laptop, literally every one, and you just be tweaking little things
Yeah.
every single time. But Um, some advice I'd give is just to make sure everything's your own and not like try and bend the truth or like make sure it's all coming from you, because in my interview, the one I got into Sheffield for, um, literally majority of it was about the personal statement. So
Yeah.
like it has to all be you, and you have to know it off by heart and really sort of like be able to expand on everything you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
How was that interview at Sheffield?
yeah, I mean it was the best one. I only got 2 interviews, so at the time I really wanted to go to Manchester at first. That
Yeah.
was like my eyes were set on there. And just because I've got family there, it's not too far from Preston, Lancashire. So I support Man United as well. And my uncle, just like you, Arnold, my uncle has season tickets there, so I could have gone to a few games, and like I was just comfortable in the city. And then I didn't get in, like I didn't get an interview from there,
Yeah.
so I was like sad at the time. So that's what made me change my thought about it all. I thought it's more of I thought of it as a golden ticket to get into dental school. Is literally like anyone that offers me an offer, I literally need to grab it with both hands and sort of take everything like I can.
Yeah.
Um, and it was a sort of blessing in disguise, because now I'm at Sheffield. Like I don't think I'd want to be at any other uni,
Yeah.
and I'm a big fan of snooker. Like it's one of my hobbies, and Sheffield's like the home of snooker. So it worked out like amazing for me, really. But yeah, the interview was like one of the best one out of the two. I had one in Newcastle as well, but they were asking me questions about personal statement, um, about what I think the course is about. It was quite relaxed, but also sort of everyone listening to me at the same time. It wasn't like I had to just look at one person. There was like 3 people asking me questions, one being a fifth year dental student at the school. So yeah, it went really good, that one.
In interviewing, what skills do you think you need to, have a good interview and to carry yourself well at interview? What advice would you give somebody that's going to be having an interview in this cycle?
I would say a lot of it's about body language and how you present yourself. So when I walked into the interview room, all the interviewees had their hands like on their papers on the lap. So I wasn't sure whether to shake their hands, and I did, and I think that's what like really sort of set it off straight away, because they were sort of happy to like shake my hand, and I was like glad I did that, because I wasn't sure at the time. And then I think there's like they're all watching everything you're doing, so it's kind of about posture and how you present yourself, like talking clearly and sitting up straight, and then obviously giving the right answers as well. That's part of it, but I think a lot of it is sort of smiling and trying to enjoy it in a sense, because they'll feed off like sort of the energy you give. If you're giving off sort of good energy in your answers, that you're enthusiastic and really know about the school, you've done your research, then they'll ask more questions about what you're saying. And so if you say things that they want to hear, then they'll ask more about it, and you'll get a really good outcome, I think.
Yeah. And how did you prepare? What was your preparation process like?
So I did the MMI interview practice with you and the dental mentor. Um, that helped me, but it was a bit unfortunate because Sheffield and Newcastle are one of the only ones that do the formal interview,
Yeah.
and I practice on MMI interviews, so it was a bit of an awkward one. But no, to practice, I asked my mum to ask me questions on my personal statement. I asked my dad, different people to sort of ask me questions on my personal statement, why I wanted to do dentistry, the common questions that come up,
Yeah.
and really know my personal statement, read it over and over, um, looked at what more I could talk about. And then once you get an interview offer, I think definitely look at the dental school itself and look at what it offers compared to other unis, why you'd pick this uni, what it is about the city. Yeah, and just practice the questions over and over, because you can't really practice enough. And definitely um, show your confidence in an interview, sit up straight, um, offer a handshake, and yeah, just smile and try and enjoy it, because I think they'll enjoy it more if you do as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. And in terms of Sheffield as a dental school, if somebody wants to get into Sheffield, what makes the ideal Sheffield applicant?
An ideal Sheffield applicant. Um,
What do Sheffield like?
Sheffield, I think everyone just really gets involved. Everyone's sort of friends with everyone on the course. It's a small dental school, and the hospital's attached, so you get to pass all the students like while you're walking, and everyone's friendly. So I think someone that sort of likes to get in the mix with other dental students, older and younger, and you have to be good with dissection as well, because for first year we did dissection on cadavers,
Yeah,
and I was watching your video with Alia,
yeah.
who's in my year, and it's funny because we were actually in the same dissection group on the same cadaver. Can you believe that? How small the world of dentistry
It's
is.
very
That's another
small.
thing I love about dentistry, is that you can connect with people, and literally like you bump into them all the time, and like you think like you're so close with a dentist compared to other professions. Like there's literally thousands and thousands of them, and you won't have a clue. Even millions in some professions, but then
Yeah,
dentistry, like everyone's close, and you feel like you're part of something that like is changing people's lives. So it's good.
yeah. And I mean, have you been enjoying your first year?
Yeah, I mean, it got cut short, but it was starting to get even better, because after these second exams, these summer exams, we were starting to. I think we were going to do scale and polish on phantom heads,
Yeah,
but we just finished dissection, which was probably like one of the highlights. You can't miss that off.
yeah,
Um, we started off on the thorax and di- dissecting the lungs and the heart, which was just so interesting. And then after that, we moved on to the head and neck. So we did the brain, the eyes, the ears, obviously the mouth.
yeah.
So yeah, that was one of the highlights. And then I think histology was quite interesting as well, as another thing we did, um, which is literally something that you don't think about before you go to dental school. Like I didn't have a clue about it, but looking at histology slides and
Yeah, just break it down for us.
looking at
What histology is?
so histology is looking at slides that have been stained on a computer to show the microscopic level. So it's a microbiology study, and we looked at HE stained slides of dentine. And well, to be fair, to start off with, we just looked at extracellular matrix, trying to get used to looking at the slides, what kind of cells you're looking for. So yeah, you start off and it just looks like a blur of pink and blue dots, and you're thinking like everything looks the same. You don't have a clue, but you start to get into it, noticing the common things, um, trying to notice the different cells, and then you go on to look at tooth structure, um, amelogenesis, dentinogenesis,
Yeah.
and tooth morphology.
A lot of
There's
people would
just
not have a
so many
clue
things.
what it's.
Yeah.
So
That
how
would
a
have,
tooth,
I didn't
how a
even
tooth
know
is
what
formed,
histology was at the
the
time.
layers of the teeth, that sort of thing.
Sorry?
So how a tooth is formed, the layers of the teeth, you're
Yeah,
looking at that process.
yeah,
Yeah. And how have you been handling the pressures of dental school and learning all of this content? Um, because there are some dental students that'll be watching, or people that are going to become dental students and thinking, how can I handle the workload and make the most out of
yeah.
it? How would you advise?
No, I'd say if you're working hard at A level, which I was at the time, I feel like if you carry that energy through, and because while you're revising for A levels and trying to get them grades, you do kind of work out what's the best way for you to revise and stuff. So for me, it was very much just trying to memorize and literally go over in my head so many times, like key facts and key things about certain topics. So I think at dental school, if you can follow that through, um, that's what I did, and it's been successful so far. But a transition from like sort of classrooms to lectures was hard because lecturers go so quick and they tell you so much, and a lot of it, like you just need to pick out sort of the key points. Obviously, all of it's like interesting and needed, but sort of for exams and for your brain to kind of soak it in at first, you just need to get the key messages across
Yeah.
and write down the key points. So that's what was successful for me this year, is to sort of get the key sort of take home messages in my head to begin with, and then once I'd done that, I could go home and then sort of fill in the little bits and the little extra details that need to be filled in,
Mm.
and yeah, just keep up the same energy of work ethic. To be honest, from A level to dental school, I think that will definitely like sort of get you through if you work hard enough for A level to get the grades. Um,
What's tough about dental school?
what's tough is it's definitely hard to sort of how to distribute your time really, because you have different sessions. So for us, it was like clinical sessions, histology, dissections, and then lectures as well. So it was like, where do you spend your time and how do you distribute it? What do you want to spend more time on? And you begin to realize that obviously you need to spend your time equally. There's no point sort of only focusing on lectures or only focusing on dissection. You do have to like revise everything equally, because they do test everything equally. And a challenging thing is it is hard to keep up with sort of the messages, but I feel that um if you do try and like keep on top of it, at the end you will see that like it all comes together. Because at first I was going through lectures and I was thinking like, how does this link to this topic, and how does this lecture like even have anything to do with dentistry? So many times I thought like, when am I going to ever use this? But now I've come to the end of year, I've realized that literally you could link every single one of the lectures together, and you realize why they teach it you in that order, and
Yeah.
it's obviously for a reason. So I think at the time while you're going through dental school, you can't really get lost and think, oh, like, why am I doing this? I'll just leave it. You have to just keep on top of it, and sort of when it comes to exam time, you'll realize, oh, this is why they taught us this, and this is why this links to this, and yeah. So just keep on top of workload, and it will all come together. That's
Yeah.
how it works.
All right. And going forward, from where you are right now, what are you looking forward to? What's on the horizon?
Oh, I just can't wait to really get started, because that's all we were just about to do. We literally was just doing an introduction to clinics, which was cross-infection control, which has actually changed now because of the current situation. So we just done a mock OSCE on it. Well, I didn't actually take part in it because this was like the end of March, and when the virus was just starting to come about, and I had the first symptoms of it, of uh, a new persistent cough. So I'm not sure if it was the virus or anything. I hadn't been tested, but uh, I was a bit worried to sort of go into the dental school with elderly patients and all the patients really sort of walking about. And if I was coughing and things, I thought it wouldn't be safe. So um, yeah, I rung the dental school and I didn't take part in the mock OSCE, but from what I heard, it was everything we'd sort of done up to them, which was cross-infection control, dental charting, taking a medical history. But from what we've heard now is that everything they did and we learned at the time is all going to be changed, really, like the cross-infection control and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think we're gonna have to learn that again, to be honest. So it was like we basically learned something that we needed to do again anyway. So we're gonna have to spend more time on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to looking at Phantom Heads, being a nurse for the 4th years, just really talking to patients because we hadn't even spoke to a patient for the first time yet, or
Hmm.
yeah,
Explain
everything
that.
that.
You said being a nurse for the 4th years. So what's that about?
So when the 4th years get their patients, we have to do everything a nurse would do for them, which is wiping down the dental unit, uh, getting their sort of instruments and equipment ready, uh, just being their helping hand really, and then you really get to see what they're doing so that you can build on their skills as well, and they can sort of benefit from you by you helping them. Obviously, while the patient's there to deliver the treatment.
Okay. So that's what you were just about to start doing before this all
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
All right. So hopefully you get to that clinical experience soon rather than later.
Uh,
What,
yeah.
what 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 have your parents and family made of you choosing to go down the route of dentistry?
It's funny, really. A lot of them weren't happy with it. They were like, "Why would you want to look inside people's mouths? Like, why would you want to be doing that every day?" And uh, well, my parents were supportive, of course. Like, they were proud of me doing dentistry, getting into dental school, getting my A level results. Like, it was a proud moment for them. But
What did you end up getting?
wider family, I got 2 A stars and an A. I should have
Wow.
got 3 A stars, to be honest, not blowing my own trumpet or anything, but I was
Right.
close in biology. I should have got a remark, but yeah, I got 2 A stars and an A. So this is what I was saying about the work ethic. If you can sort of keep it up from A level to dental school, it
Yeah.
really does help you. Like working hard at A level, it's not just for A level that you're working hard for. You're keeping up that sort of learning and soaking information and memory and revising. You're keeping that through to dental school, and it'll help you if you do it now. It'll
Yeah.
help you in the future as well when you're revising in dental school. So
Are
yeah,
you the
that's proud.
first dentist in the family?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, my sister was the first to go uni, but she's doing law at Lancaster.
Yeah.
So we both kind of drive off each other to like work hard and get good results and things in our own subject. But yeah, she was the first to go uni in my family, and then I followed on to do dentistry as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Looking back on the whole journey from you deciding to um, do dentistry to now, um, what would you say have been the biggest factors in you getting to this point?
Um, I'd say motivation and like sort of determination to get in. It has to be there. You have to really want it. I think for me, that's what did it. Like I really wanted it at A level, and as I said, that golden ticket of dental school. Like when I didn't get into Manchester, I was so gutted in thinking that I would get in because I'd worked on my personal statement. I got my UK car. I had everything ready.
Yeah.
I was just preparing for interviews, but when I got that rejection, I thought dental school really is like that one opportunity and like a golden ticket just to get in for anyone is so hard. So you really just have to like grab it with both hands and really want to work hard. So for me, it was just that determination and motivation to get in was a turning point for me.
Yeah. Well, I hope you have a very exciting dental career, and we have to catch up
Yeah,
the next time you're around Preston.
yeah, no, that'd be good, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah. So, guys, make sure to subscribe. Click onto the notifications so you don't miss out on more videos like this. Right there, down there below. Just subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, Peter, for coming on today.
No, thank you, Arnold. Thanks for everything. Yeah, I recommend Arnold Service and Dental Mentor, really good organisation. So, yeah, get on it, get on it early.